Grin and bear it to supersize your business. This is Lonnie, my sudden cardiac arrest bear. Long story. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom or expression today for supersize your business is to grin and bear it, courtesy of my 6-year-old granddaughter who had a sleepover last night. She's like, "Can't you use Lonnie, your little teddy bear, for something?" And I said, yes. Well, he doesn't have much of a mouth, so I put a little extra mouth on him to emphasize the grinning aspect of our behavior in life. There's a lot of things. This is probably one of my favorite idioms. I don't love it because of what it means, but I love it because almost everybody on the planet can relate to it, or especially since COVID-19, there's been so much stuff with the COVID stuff that we got to just put up with and deal with, grin and bear it, and figure it out. It's been a huge challenge, especially if you're a business owner. A business owner with kids at home. I don't have kids at home, but through COVID, I have helped support and take care of my granddaughter and then granddaughters. I have a COVID granddaughter. I call her a COVID baby, but she's really a polar vortex baby. But there's so many things that we have to just accept it and deal with it, because we don't have any choice. There's not anything that we can control personally or do about it. Think of the weather. Do we have any control over the weather? No. We just grin and bear it, or we make the best of it. I like to think of making the best of something versus grinning and bear it. This is one of those idioms that's been around since way before 1794, when Aramis Darwin used it in his Zoonomic or something, or Zoomania, I don't know, Zoomia, I don't know what it was, but George Lichtenstein, known as Litchi, was the one that created the Grin and Bear It cartoon that ran for 83 years. It's the 10th longest running American comic. It started in 1932 and ran until 2015 as a active comic strip, or comic. I guess it wasn't I don't know if it was a strip or not. I'm not familiar with it. But it means we just have to accept something. Now, I've got a lot of experience with this one. Parents tell us that do your chores, just, do them cheerfully, grin and bear it, go to school, do what you're told, become good human beings. And sometimes our spouses, we have to grin and bear stuff that they expect us to do. I always had to grin and bear it with respect to housework. I'm not a housework kind of gal. In corporate America, I have so many stories of where we had to grin and bear it. My first job out of college was working for a toilet paper manufacturer, and it was at the time when there weren't team-based systems. Teamwork was new. Okay, that's how old I am. Teamwork was new to manufacturing and new to the corporate environment. And the upper echelon in the corporation had decided that we were going to go from a traditional work situation of groups of people working together to a team-based system where people's pay was based on what they contributed to their team. People were changed and put into teams by upper management and worked a terrible work schedule. We had worked back in the days of the Southern Swing shift rotation. So if you know what that is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But they had to go from everybody made the same amount of money because it was a union environment, to people were going to be based on the skills and the areas that they learned and what they contributed in performance. So there were different skill sets that they could learn and get more money for based on that, which in a union environment was not the mentality that any of them had grown up with. Most of the people that worked there had been there decades, or at least a decade, and so we had a bunch of new college graduates coming in at the team management level. They created a new level of management to implement upper management's beliefs of what they wanted in the organization, and it was challenging, to say the best. And we pulled it off, we made it happen, but it was not fun or easy. It was very stressful. It took a lot of education and sharing and figuring out what was in the benefit and how did it benefit the people that were being impacted, not just the company, because we knew there was a company benefit or it wouldn't have happened, right? So grin and bear it. I've had lots of experience with grin and bear it in the corporate world, in the business world. As much as the world is changing, and the world has changed up until the last couple of years, women in business are treated differently. Anybody that's different in business, different than the culture that they're in, is treated differently. And sometimes you just have to grin and bear it. But doesn't mean you always have to put up with it. So curious, what has been your experience with the idiom, the expression, grin and bear it? Have you had to grin and bear it? What's it? And I challenge everybody today to take a look at your company and at your culture and notice things that you may not have noticed before where people are being treated differently based on anything or everything, or maybe they're not, and ways that you could improve to make sure that people are being heard and understood and valued and appreciated for what they bring to the organization, not for what's different. And we have to remember that diversity and the differences that we bring to the organization are actually a competitive advantage, because the world is not all like one homogeneous group, and the people we serve are not one homogeneous group. They're a collection of all different types of people, and the more different types of people that we have in our organization, the easier it is to relate to and understand our customers. So our idiom for today: grin and bear it. Go out, grin and bear it. I'm going to remove Lonnie's grin because he's got a really, really cute, no, he doesn't even have a mouth. He doesn't have a grin, but he's always smiling on the inside. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to grow and supersize your business? Have a great day.